Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Goffstown Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting of June 2nd, 2020. My name is Gail Lebrecq. I'm the chairman of the board. And as chair of the Goffstown Zoning Board of Adjustment, due to the COVID-19 outbreak, in accordance with the Governor Sununu's Emergency Order 12 pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04, the board is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there's no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to the meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, this is to confirm that we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. The ZBA is utilizing a telephone conference line for this electronic meeting. The public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate in this meeting through dialing 603-766-5646. Again, that is 603-766-5646. And using the participant code 785-645, followed by the pound sign. Again, that's 785-645, followed by the pound sign. We're also providing public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting. The town previously gave notice to the public of how to access the meeting using the available telephone number with the posted agenda. We're providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anybody has a problem with telephone access, please call 603-660-5000. Again, that's 603-660-5000. Adjourning the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting, we'll adjourn the meeting and have it rescheduled at that time. All votes that are taken during this meeting are done by roll call votes. So when each member states their presence, if they're calling in remotely, they need to state whether there is anyone else in the room with them. And that's required under the right to know law. Now, the ZBA meeting has particular kind of procedures that we follow. Currently, the board is an elected board of 5 members and up to 5 appointed alternates. And currently, we have 5 members and no alternates. So if anybody is interested in being an alternate on the board, please see Nancy Larson at Town Hall for more information. The board has a posted agenda for each meeting and tends to follow the items in order. The board will open the public hearing on an application to receive testimony from the applicants, to hear from abutters and affected parties, and ask questions. The public hearing will be closed, and the board will enter into a deliberative session to discuss the merits of the appeal. And those who do want to make public comment will come for, well, you're not here, so you can't come forward and sit at the table. You would have to, it's £9 or £9?
It is £9
Yes.
to raise
So-
their hand.
Yes, so if there is anybody calling in who wants to talk for a particular application, when the opportunity arises, then you will hit £9, £9.
£9.
I'll get it straight. £9, and that will, in effect, raise your hand so that it will alert Nancy Larson, and you will have your opportunity to talk. For each application, the board will decide to approve with conditions, deny, or continue to a later meeting. And you're welcome to watch the deliberations this evening on television or on Facebook or YouTube, or you can contact Nancy Larson at Town Hall to get the results. Any motion made, for any motion made, there must be an affirmative vote of at least 3 members. So an applicant can request a continuance if there's not a full 5-member board to act on an application. And I want to tell each of the applicants tonight, we only have 3 members. Our board is normally 5. 2 of them could not be here tonight. So we have myself, Len Stewart, and Alan Yeaton, who will they'll introduce themselves shortly. The other 2 are not here, so you do have the opportunity to continue if you want, because any motion requires a vote of all 3 of us tonight. So that's something for you to think about. Nancy?
Madam Chair, I'm sorry. Daryl just reminded me I mixed up my symbols. It's not £9, it's *9. To raise your hand.
Okay, *9 to raise your hand. We stand corrected. So if anybody needs to comment, it is *9, and that will that will alert us to your wish to be heard. Okay, and if you are aggrieved by a decision made by the ZBA tonight, you have a right to appeal to Superior Court. But before you can appeal to Superior Court, you have to request a rehearing here with the zoning board to preserve your right to appeal. And that must be filed within 30 days of the decision, and it should state all reasons why the decision was unlawful or unreasonable. And failure to request a rehearing may forfeit your ability to appeal to Superior Court. Okay, so I'm going to first ask the board members to introduce themselves. As I said, I am Gail LeBrecq, I'm the chairman, and we have,
Leonard Stewart, Vice Chairman.
Alan, you're on. Alan? You there? You're on for roll call.
Do you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Oh, yes, I can.
Okay.
I am, my name is Alan Yaton, I'm in the room alone.
thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Alan.
And Nancy? Oh,
Nancy Larson, Zoning Code Enforcement Officer.
okay. And before we get started, one of the first things that we do is to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you'd join me, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For all.
Okay, the first item on our agenda is the approval of minutes to the meeting of May 5th. Do we have any corrections or a motion?
I will move that we approve the minutes as submitted.
Thank you. And do we have a second? That's your cue.
Alan Yaton here, I'll second it.
Thanks, Alan. And, let's see, Sandra's not here and Denise is not here. Okay, so we have the motion to approve and the second. All in favor? Roll call vote. Alan?
Yes?
Len?
Yes.
And I, Gail, say yes. Motion carries 3-0. Okay, and then we are on to our first public hearing. That is Ken and Christine Bernard, applicants, C&K Properties LLC owner, seeking a special exception to build an accessory dwelling unit on the second floor of an attached garage of a single-family home under construction. This concerns Section 5.2 of the Goffstown zoning ordinance. The vacant property is located on Lindsay Way, Map 9, Lot 4-38-2, and is zoned agricultural. So if you would come and have a seat right there. Identify yourself, please, for the record.
Hello, members, audience. My name is Ken Bernard.
Okay, and what do you want to tell us about your application, Mr. Bernard?
So, to let everybody know at home too, we're just seeking a special exception. Originally, we were going to start building our home like a year ago. We didn't do it for financial reasons because my wife's father got sick. He had some cancer, and he fought and got through it. And he lives up in Rochester. He had to retire early. Funds got tight, which is probably maybe irrelevant, but I'm just getting the story behind it. So when we decide to structure and build our home, we decide to take him in. So on the house, we try to find all the guidelines and meet all your criterias and come to you guys with propose to have him live with us. So we did everything we possibly could to meet everything and made it suitable for him.
So you're saying you meet all the other criteria, you just need the special exception
I believe
for the,
so.
for the
I
special?
believe so.
For the
He's got his
accessory
own
dwelling.
garage bay, his own entrance. He's got an entrance in the second floor to the home. He would like it a lot, but larger, considering he has a trailer in Rochester that's like 1,200 square feet. So for him to go to this he's upset, but it is what it is. We want to do it legally. I didn't want to hide it. I
It's
could have done
attached-
it, and I didn't want
Attached to
to.
the house?
Yeah, correctly, second floor, and then you can leave his apartment and come into our home. So it's not going to be set up for like an apartment or like a business. It's strictly just for a family member. Even the electricity, everything is all into our home.
How big will it be?
Excuse me?
How big will it be?
It's on the plans as 774 square feet, and that is including the staircase coming up,
Okay.
so.
And for rooms, what will it have?
Just literally, in the plans, it shows a open concept kitchen and dining, a small little bathroom and a bedroom, and a small closet on the side that does like a washer and dryer.
No living room?
It's all open concept because we couldn't
Okay.
fit it to keep into the square footage of the
Okay.
standard accessible size, so.
Len, do you have questions?
No,
Alan, do you have questions of the applicant?
No, I'm all set here.
Okay. Would you do me a favor, and would you please review, I'm presuming you have your application?
I do on my phone. I didn't have.
Oh,
yes.
well, that's okay, because we can
Okay,
help you here.
go for it.
You have, the special exception request has certain questions you kind of had to answer, or
Yep, I
criteria?
remember. Yep.
You had, so if I can read your answers
Go for
for
it.
you?
Go.
You're okay with that?
Of course.
Okay.
I did the best I could, everybody.
Okay, so you're looking for approval for the in-law over the garage. It will have 774 square feet over the garage, including the staircase. The specific site is an appropriate location for such use, being consistent with the town's current master plan, because it's under the town guidelines, square footage and location. The size or frequency of the use will not significantly alter the character of the neighborhood, because it does not change the character of the house, nor will it look much different than other surrounding homes in the area. The use will not create a hazard or nuisance to vehicles or pedestrians in a mere manner that cannot be ameliorated, because only one more car will be added and will have his own spot in the garage. Driveway is long and no cars will be parked on the street. The proposed location is of sufficient size to allow for adequate and appropriate facilities for the proper operation of the use, because the size is adequate.
I guess because.
Is that because, oh, because, yes, BC. Okay. He's older and single. With his age, we can assist him in the future in our home. The proposed location is of sufficient size to allow for appropriate buffers of this use to adjacent properties, because it's part of the home and has no bearing to affect any other dwelling. And other issues or matters deemed relevant. The father-in-law has had cancer recently and has lost his job. He's now on retirement benefits. This would help him financially as well. Is there anything else that you want to add?
No, that's it. Just that our drive is like 360 feet long, so privacy and entering, and it just shouldn't be a nuisance at all. I can't imagine it being
160 feet.
anything
That's a long driveway.
like privacy.
Okay. Len, questions?
No,
Alan, do you have any questions?
No, not at this time.
Are we ready for the public hearing? Or to open it up to the public for comment?
Yes.
Okay, then at this time, I'm gonna open the hearing to the public for comment. If there is anybody who wants to call to have anything to say about this particular application, you will hit *9.
Madam Chair, we do have an unidentified caller on the phone, so I'm going to see if that person is a member of the public wishing to speak on this application.
Okay,
Hi, I see there is a number ending in 1507.
Hi, yes, that's me, Jonathan Watkins. I was actually waiting for I would assume it's the next topic of conversation, so no comment on this one.
Okay, what application is it that you are waiting on?
We got a letter in the mail a couple weeks ago about Matthew and Jennifer.
Helvatsis.
Yeah, they're our neighbor, and we just wanted to chime in and listen and see what's going on. So,
Okay, yes, that's the next one. So when the public comment comes up, I'll remember that you're there waiting for to make comments. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm going to mute you. All right.
all right, yeah, that's fine.
All right. Thank you.
okay, one last round. Alan or Len, any more comments before I close the public?
only a comment that I think this is the kind of family situation that the changes in the ADU regulations are meant to address, and I don't see any objection to it.
That was my thoughts exactly. Alan?
No comments.
Okay, then I'm going to close the public hearing. And before we go on to deliberations, I would like a motion regarding regional impact, please.
I'll move it has no regional impact.
Thanks, Len.
Seconded by Alan.
Thanks, Alan. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Alan, yes?
Roll
Okay. And Len?
Yes.
And I say yes as well. And motion carries. Okay, so now we need to deliberate on the application itself. Do we have a motion or further conversation?
I'll move to grant the special exception as requested.
Okay. I'll second it, how's that? Okay, so we have the motion, Len made the motion to approve the special exception to build an accessory dwelling unit on the second floor of an attached garage. And I seconded the motion. And now we will do a roll call vote. Alan?
Yes.
Len?
Yes.
And I say yes, so the motion carries 3-0. You have your special exception.
Awesome. Thank you for everybody for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Okay, our next application is Matthew and Jennifer Halvatsis, applicants' owners seeking a variance to permit a separate driveway for a previously approved accessory dwelling unit. This concerns section 5.2.6 of the Goffstown zoning ordinance. The property is located at 326 Gorham Pond Road, map 10, lot 25, zoned agricultural, and I will entertain a motion for regional impact, please.
So moved.
Alan, thank you.
Second.
Len, thank you. So we have the motion, we have the second. Alan, how do you vote?
Yes.
Len?
Yes.
Oh,
And Kale, yes. So we have all in favor, no regional impact. And do we have Matthew or Jennifer Halvatsis or their representative here?
Yes, we do. John, is that you on the phone? This is Nancy.
Yeah, no, it is John, Nancy. How are
It is
you?
John. Okay.
I need to know John's name.
John, can you speak your name and address for the record?
Sure. Should I use my resident address or this address? I'm
can
not
u-
living here yet.
You can use your current resident address.
Okay, so I am John Hilbatsis Jr. I reside at 393 Chestnut Hill Road in New Boston.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
Yep.
And you're presenting this application to the board tonight?
Yes, my son Matt is sitting right here, but it's from my driveway, so I'll be doing the speaking. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt. Now, didn't we see them before, or was that the planning board?
No.
The zoning board and planning board have both seen them. Zoning board saw them for the special exception for the accessory dwelling unit. Then the planning board had to see them to allow a second driveway where they don't have enough frontage for a second driveway.
Right.
And this current request is actually based on the accessory dwelling unit requirements that prohibit no separate driveway for an ADU. Mr. Halvatsis wanted to get going on the construction of the accessory dwelling unit instead of having to get waylaid a little bit for this separate driveway.
Right, I remember that. And if I remember correctly, the planning board didn't really have any negative comment about
Correct.
the second driveway.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, Mr. Halvatsis, the floor is yours if you want to tell us about your application, please.
Okay, if this is the point where I start reading the information in my answer.
Well, why don't you tell us about the plans first?
Oh, okay. The plan is a curb cut next to 310. It's 40 feet away from his driveway. and I'm not sure, it's probably at least 100 feet from yours, 80 to 100 feet from my son's on the other side of the home. And we would like to be able to park over here next to the ADU, as the way the house is. If you remember the plan, I'm on one side of the property, he's on the other side, which means when we got here, we would have to park over there, walk over here, which isn't really bad right now, but as we get older, which is why we want the place, that's going to become more and more difficult.
Okay. Is the separation distance between the two driveways, is that the only dimension that you don't meet?
What we don't need is, for two driveways, you need 250 feet. We have 220.
And that's been decided on by the planning board.
Right. Okay.
That was by conditional use permit, and that was granted. So he's just here this evening because our accessory dwelling unit regulations do not allow a separate driveway to serve an accessory dwelling unit.
Okay. Len, do you have any questions of the applicant?
No, it was clear from, the case is clear from the application.
Okay. And Alan, do you have any questions or comments for the applicant?
Not at this time.
Okay. All right, Mr. Helvatzis, you want to review those, the criteria for the variance from your
Yes, I
application?
will, thank you. Granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest, because adding the curb cut will not affect the public in any way. The spirit of the ordinance is observed because it allows for at least one parking space to be provided for the ADU. Granting the variance would do substantial justice because it allows safe access to the ADU. The values of the surrounding properties will not be diminished because the addition of the ADU has increased the value of the developed property, and a driveway specifically for the ADU will only add to that. Demonstrating the literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance would result in an unnecessary hardship. Excuse me. Owning to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship because no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of the provision to the property, because I have to take a drink, excuse me.
Water?
Yeah. The main driveway parking area is located on the other side, north of the existing home, making it a long walk to access to the ADU's back door, which would be more complicated in inclement weather for older adults. The purpose of the the proposed use is a reasonable one because it allows the residents of the ADU to park next to their unit and not impose upon the inhabitants of the existing dwelling, and safer for access. And then B, if the criteria in subparagraph A are not established, an unnecessary hardship will be deemed to exist if, and only if, owning to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area. The property cannot be reasonably used in strict conformance with the ordinance, and a variance is therefore necessary to enable a reasonable use of it. And then it says explained. Older adults will be living in the ADU. As they get older, it will be a hardship on them to access their unit from the primary dwelling unit's parking area. Other issues and matters applicant deems relevant to this request. A driveway permit was approved by Public Works. Planning Board has approved curb cut pending ZBA approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have anything else that you want to add about your application at this point?
I do not.
Okay. Len or Alan, do you have any questions or comments?
No, for Alan.
Nope, not at this time.
Okay. Then I'm going to open the hearing to the public. And do we have anybody from the public that wants to speak?
Not anymore. The person is no longer. Hopefully they'll call back.
Oh. Okay. Maybe we'll wait a couple seconds to see.
Yeah.
If I can ask a question of the applicant while we're here, as I'm looking at your map here right now with the proposal, the in-law quarters that you're proposing are going to be at the end of the existing house on the addition. And so it looks to me it's roughly, you'd be talking about, without the additional driveway, a walk of 120 feet, the length of the property, in order to reach the current driveway parking lot. Is that about correct?
Yeah, I'd say you're pretty close, yes.
And is there any way around behind the pool, or would you be going along the Gorham Pond Road side of the house? Under current conditions.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
If it were done without the second cut, you'd have to walk on the Gorham Pond side of the house to reach it, looking at the pool playground and everything
yeah.
that's behind.
Yes, correct, sir. Yes, I understand now. That would be correct.
All right, that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is the caller back, Nancy?
No.
Okay. I'm going to close the public hearing, and the board can enter into deliberations. And is there comment from Len or Alan, or is there a motion?
Alan here with no comment.
No comments? Okay. And Len?
No comments, but I'll offer a motion
Okay, go ahead.
to to grant the variance as requested.
Okay. And do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Alan. All right, so we have the motion to approve, we have the second, and we will do a roll call vote. Alan?
Yes?
Len?
Yes.
And I say yes as well, so we have a vote, 3-0. The variance has been approved.
Thank you, John.
Thank you very, very, thank you all
Thank you,
for,
Matt.
all of this through the whole process. Thank you, the town of Goffstown. And all of you be safe.
You
You as
too.
well.
Okay, take care, Nancy.
Take care, John.
Take care, bye.
Bye.
Okay, our next application is E. Belanger Land Surveying, PLLC applicant, Wade and Kayla Nault, owners, seeking a variance to construct an attached garage 3.7 feet from the side property line, whereas 25 feet is the minimum required. This concerns Section 4.3, Table of Dimensional Regulations of the Goffstown zoning ordinance, and the property is located at 625 Blackbrook Road, map 11, lot 18-2, and is zoned agricultural. And I will entertain a motion for regional impact, please.
I move no regional impact.
So moved.
All right. Alan, I'll give you the second because Len already made the motion. And we have, Alan, you vote, your vote on this is?
He seconded.
Yes?
Okay, and Len?
Yes.
And I say yes, so the motion carries 3-0, all in favor. And we have the applicant and representative here. If you would come forward and introduce yourselves, please.
Sure. My name is Jacques Belanger. I'm the surveyor that helped prepare the application for the Naults. So the Knolls own the existing home on Blackbrook Road. It's a small cape. It runs kind of parallel with the sideline, but it is kind of kitty-corner to the road. It doesn't sit square onto the road. The house is kind of built in a location that's kind of between the ledge outcrop on the back right, ledge outcrop on the left, well in the back to the left, and a septic area in the front. And what the Knolls would like to do is put a garage on to the right side. The garage dimensions, the building itself is 28 by 30 feet deep, 28 feet wide across the front. It lines up with the existing driveway, sits almost parallel with the existing lot line. And across the front of the garage, you're going to have two garage doors. The location of the garage blocks the existing entrance to the house. So they're going for a front man door, basically, between the garage and the first, the house and the first garage door bay, bringing the frontage up to 28 feet. And that puts the rear of the house at 3.7 feet at the closest point to the abutting lot line. I believe in your application package, you have a letter from the abutter to the, I guess be the northwest, Albridge, that state that they don't have an issue with the separation. That part of the structure, it's not living space, it's parking space, it's putting a car inside the building. Other than that, they're just limited to where they could actually put a garage. Currently, their storage is basically the house and then a small shed out back. I think that kind of sums it up.
Okay. How far is the garage from, I know what you said from the property line, but how about from that abutter's home?
I don't know where that sits on that lot. Do you,
I can answer that. They're about 150 feet away. They're quite a ways on the other side of the lot.
Your name, please?
Dave Nault. I'll be helping Kayla and Wade with the building of the project, so I went out and made the initial measurements and decided we needed Jacques to come in and flag the property line to get the exact dimensions, because I knew it was too close. But they're very nice neighbors. They gave a letter and have no issue with it. And if you can see in your package, you have a picture showing the driveway coming up on the right side of the house, and basically the garage is going to be taking the place of that driveway structure that's already there now. As Jacques said, we looked at all different locations on the property, and with the ledge upcroppings and the seasonal wetlands and the septic system in the front yard, there's no other spot really for them to have an enclosed garage. And I think that Peter might have stated as in his remarks later, a lot of the other houses in the area that abut them have garages attached to their existing houses as well.
Are their garages as close to the property lines as yours?
I wouldn't think they are.
Okay.
Or you would have saw a lot more variances.
yeah, the Knolls you didn't build the house, they bought the house in that situation.
No, the house was in a present location and they bought it, and
Right.
we're just seeking the best spot to put a garage on the property.
Okay. Now, this is a two-car garage? If you reduced it to a one-car garage and moved it in a little bit, how would that affect the,
Well, they have, I'll just answer for Kayla, 'cause they have two full-size cars, and as you can see, it's pretty tight when they pull up there. They do have a small driveway at the base that Wade parks a company van in, so there's not really any additional room there, so they'd like to try and put both of there.
well, what do they do now?
They leave them out in the snow.
Well, I understand that. Okay,
So that's, they have, Wade's a plumber, he has a company van, he parks at the foot of the hill, and then their two cars are parked parallel next to the house right there.
okay. Len? Alan, do either one of you have questions?
The garage is how deep? What are the dimensions of the garage?
The garage itself is 28 feet wide from the face of the existing house and 30 feet deep. 28 feet wide gives you the room for two garage doors and a front entrance into the garage. They're losing their side entrance to the garage as it is when the side entrance to the house when the garage is built. So this gives them access to that same side of the house without going in through the front door. and around to the back side of the house, the way it kind of loops around, a little L shape. That's a bit of an access for mudroom and whatnot. The kids just got young boys and
We have four young boys. So we have a lot of bikes and a lot of stuff. And that's kind of why we went bigger.
Okay. Alan? Alan, you got any more questions or comments?
I'm having a tough time with this, Madam Chair.
You and me both.
The, I'm just trying to think, is there alternative solutions? You know, a garage 30-foot deep. A typical garage doesn't need to be more than 24-foot deep. There's a lot more going on here than shows on a plan, on a site plan. And I wish there was a floor plan or something about the construction and how this particular garage would
We did,
appear on the site.
I think.
Yeah. My concern is not so much about how deep it is, but how wide it is and bringing it so close to the buffer or to the property line. And I'm wondering if, well, I'm not going to try to redesign their plan for them, but with a one-car garage instead of a two, I realize it doesn't necessarily meet their needs or what they're looking for, but it would certainly minimize their intrusion into the buffer or the setback. That's the word I wanted. Thank you.
I believe it was mentioned in this, there's going to be a person door, pedestrian door, and 2 garage bay doors across the front of it. That's your,
correct. That becomes the access to the house through the garage. The man door, 2 garage doors to get into it.
if you were to remove that man door and just make an internal exit from the, entrance exit from the house to the garage,
We could-
would that reduce the width of it by any significant degree?
We could reduce the width by a couple of feet and put the door on the side of the garage, if that would help the board. So we could reduce that width down to 26 feet, I guess. And we did provide a plan for the application too, just so they could see a copy of it, but we could put that door on the side. There are stairs in that garage that would access their house, they're existing now. And those stairs are approximately 4 feet wide. That's why we went with the 28 feet wide, because you have to have a couple of stairs and a landing to enter into the house there. So if the cars couldn't be parked in the stair area, so that's why we went with that 28 feet.
So you're saying that the entrance into the house is elevated from the
It is,
ground level of the garage?
yeah, which is standard on most houses. There's 2 to 3 steps to get into the house. This one has 3 steps, and then there's gotta be a landing, a 3-foot landing to meet code. So we moved the doors over in the garage so you wouldn't be running into the stairs that enter into the house.
Would you like to put the floor plan up on the wall, or?
Madam Chair,
Alan?
what happens if they put a garage there with just a single 16-foot door?
Well, that was my thought, was it just a one,
It would, there's many, a place that has a 16-foot door, that 2 cars parked side by side, which would reduce the size of this, extension by, I don't know, 4 to 6 feet. Instead of 28, it's gonna be 22 foot wide.
would that still give them room for that 3 feet or so that they need for the internal stairs into the house?
Good, yes.
We could possibly, it'd be tight, but we could possibly make it work with 24 feet. Not down to 22, but with 24 feet, we could possibly make it work if it would help the board.
The 24 feet, that's still,
5.7. Was it 3.7?
3.7.
3.7, no.
So.
From 7.7.
7.7, at that point, right?
7.7. We were looking at the dimensions, knowing we had to come in front of the board. We figured, let's do it the way that it would be right and have the cars fit in there properly. A worst-case scenario, and if we had to come down and move the man door to the side, then we could make people walk around there to get in and, go around the cars instead of walking straight in. The stairway now comes out the landing and straight down towards that door, so we were trying to have the traffic enter into the house, straightforward, but,
And then the kids open the door and it's smashing the car next door.
I think it would be better to reduce that width slightly than to go down to a single car, because you still got one car outside and one inside and all of that, so.
Do you want to put your plan up where we can
Sure can.
look at it?
I actually have a couple copies if you want to take one too.
We'll take that. We'll look.
I wanted to look at order up here. I think there's some
is there-
tax tracks.
Door.
That's the piece that wraps around.
Yeah, with the entry there. No. Alan, are you watching this on any of the videos that are out there available to see the plan?
I'm pretty good at visualizing things.
Okay.
We did send it electronically if you want to send him an email too.
Let's see if I can.
I can resend it right now. So it's fresh.
So that you may,
Okay.
try not to disconnect while I'm doing. When did you send it?
Yes, great.
Madam Chair,
Yeah, go ahead.
are they enclosing the deck that's on the back of the house too with this garage addition?
Alan, there's no deck existing there now. They were trying to come around the back with just like a shed roof there to give a little boot room for their boys. They got 4 young boys and their dad works out in the construction field, so they've, as you come into that door, there's not much room for them to put anything when they come into their house.
And that's access from the, and that is access from the inside of the house?
Yeah, there'll be access from the back of the house through a slider there and and there'll be a fire door there between the garage and that little mudroom.
Then you can also take and move the access stairs into that room to the back of the garage, rotate them 90 degrees, and then you could take and reduce the size of that garage to 22 feet, because now you don't need the 4 foot for the stairway that's in the way.
Ellen, we were using that as a boot room. We weren't trying to eliminate the side door to the house as well.
But that boot room has access into the house.
Yeah,
Alan?
we were doing that more as a boot room for her boys, not to
Like a mudroom.
send the traffic through there like a U shape.
Alan?
Yes,
I just forwarded to you the email from Kayla Nault that has photos, and then if you scroll down a little farther, it has a PDF. If you open that up, it'll provide the drawings that they have pinned up on the board right now.
I'm watching you on my TV.
Oh, good.
I am not at my computer.
Okay.
Okay, but you can
I'm
see
not
it,
in
so
my
that's
office.
good.
I'm in my family room.
Okay,
that's
good.
So, as far as I can figure out, they could make it 24 wide, move the garage, the access door at the front to the side of the garage. Although, if you drive in the garage, close the door, you're in the garage already. So, I don't know. I'm not sure.
We'd be willing to go down to the 24 feet, Alan, if that would suffice the board.
Well, let's put the design of the building, of the garage on hold for a minute, because that's not really our job. And let's have the applicant, review the variance criteria to see if they meet those with their request.
You found it.
Yeah. Can't pair up. All right,
You can start with number 1.
okay. Granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because the granting of this variance, of this requested variance, will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood, as the proposed garage will create a house in look, size, and location on the lot that is consistent with the character of the other lots in the area. Most, if not all, abutting houses have garages. The spirit of the ordinance is observed because many of the homes within the surrounding area have existing garages. The garage will be consistent in appearance with the neighborhood. The garage will fit in with the nature of the surrounding properties. The abutters to the northwest have a written letter stating they have no concerns with the variance request. Granting the variance would do substantial justice because it will allow the owners to fully enjoy their property and to benefit from having a garage. Having a garage will increase the value of the neighborhood. The values of surrounding properties will not be diminished because granting of the variance will have no effect on the surrounding property values. It will actually increase the values as it will be consistent with other properties. Then demonstrate the illegal enforcement of provisions of the ordinance would result in unnecessary hardship. Want me to read those two, correct?
Pardon? Yep, those two.
No fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property because the garage addition will not be intrusive or out of character with the surrounding homes. There is no other location of the garage due to ledge outcroppings within the property and the location of the existing leach field and septic. The location proposed and requested is the most logical place for the garage. The proposed use is a reasonable one because it will protect equipment and cars from the weather and will improve aesthetics and will not overburden the building coverage requirements. They are making valuable and reasonable use of the land, which is consistent with the character of the neighborhood. There's a couple typos in there, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah,
That's okay. We know what you mean.
thanks.
Okay. Len?
Not at the moment, but give me a minute.
Okay. Alan? Comments? Questions?
Not at this time.
I just want to state as part of the record there, we looked at having a detached garage, we looked at putting it further in the back, we looked at all locations on this house. The whole back of that property, the elevation is up 10 or 15 feet with all ledgy outcroppings, and there's not another spot on there for them to have a garage on that property that we could see. So it really does, with the ledge outcroppings and everything else, leave them in a position where that was the only spot that we could find to put it.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
And
Len.
I think that hits the point that I've been trying to formulate here, because I think the point that you make about there's ledge all over the property, you've got special circumstances where there's really nowhere else to put it. I mean, we can go back and forth about the design here, but no matter how you change it,
Right.
there's going to be no way that you're not going to be well into the, in fact, the question here, I think, is just how much in is what the board has to decide that it's comfortable with, and I think some small reduction in it, if it helps the other members of the board, would be good, but I do think that you've got to, you've made your case, you've looked the property over, there's no other alternative, I think,
Yeah, the ledge is a real hardship on the property, and like Jacques said, we didn't build that house, so we didn't have the ability to locate it in a better spot when it was first built, but I think they also slid the house over to that side because of the ledge, so. The nice thing is, the neighbor that there is their butter is a long ways away from them, and they're way up on a hill too, so
Yeah.
it's not something that they're gonna have as an eyesore that's right there close to them, and they've given us the letter, which is in the file as well, that, they're,
and if there are trees and considerable vegetation on that side of the property between this house and the abutter on that side.
Yeah, and I also sent pictures of that to Nancy. It looks like our property goes for 20 feet after that. Even our neighbors, like, we kind of go by the wood line because of the way it's set.
Well, typically, you look at a lot and you think it goes straight back, not skewed like the lines have them.
Yeah, it cut
So
more
if
than-
you're looking at the street line, it would look straight back, and then not the diagonal lot lines you have here.
I'm going to read the letter from your abutter into the record, and I do want to make sure it's known that it is the abutter who is most affected by this variance request if it were to be approved. And it says, "To whom it may concern, I, James L. Bennett III, owner of 637 Blackbrook Road, Goffstown, New Hampshire, approve the requested variance to allow the building of a garage at 625 Blackbrook Road, Goffstown, New Hampshire. I'm aware that a reduction of required yards is being applied for at the subject property and have reviewed the plans presented to me by the petitioner for the proposed construction. I have no objection to granting my consent for the aforementioned request for a variance for the new construction as proposed in the plans reviewed with the owners of 625 Blackbrook Road." That was very nice of them to do that for you. Okay. Alan, comments?
I'm all set.
Okay, Len?
I'm all set.
All right, so we'll open this up to the public for comment. If anybody, is there anybody on the line, Nancy? Okay, there's nobody on the line, so I won't ask anybody to hit star 9?
Yep.
I keep forgetting what,
Star 9.
I keep forgetting when it's supposed to be. Okay, so I'll open the public hearing and I'll close the public hearing in one fell swoop. And I will entertain a motion, or we can have more discussion. Alan? Len?
Right now, I'm looking at pictures.
Okay. What are you seeing?
The ones that were just sent to me.
Okay. See, I don't have the benefit of those. I just have the one that came with the application.
They were just emailed yesterday. I have them on my computer now, if you would like to see them. They're,
They're just pictures I took with my phone just to visualize it a little bit easier. I didn't know if it'd help.
I can walk around and show it to you.
Okay. That's what you're more comfortable doing.
Oh. Excuse me.
I had a screaming toddler on my hip. I was
Did I
doing
give
it,
you
so they
anything?
might-
Okay. That's one, same, and that's, you'd see the orange stake where does that orange stake represent the 3.7 foot setback? Okay,
that's the property line.
That's the property.
that's the property line, okay.
Okay.
So that's similar to the one in the report. A little closer, and then that orange stake is the
property line.
property
So
line.
it's gonna be 3.7, and they
Mhm.
still have that amount of trees before them.
Yep.
Okay.
Good amount of trees in there.
Yeah, it's probably as wide as this room almost.
As wide as this room?
No, it's much wider than that.
No, from our property.
to the trees, but they're talking the width of the trees.
Roughly how wide is the treed area?
I'd say 100 yards wide, so 100, no,
Between,
100 feet worth, yeah, not 100 yards. 100
okay,
feet
100 feet worth of trees. You talking length or width?
Width.
Between this property?
Their house, yeah. They have a very small lawn because their property slopes down towards Caleb's.
And how much of
property.
those trees are yours?
The property, mostly on the other property,
Okay. How much are on this property?
right where the garage going, as you can see,
Slants towards-
as you can see in that picture where the stakes are, they thought their property actually was a little bit wider than it was until we actually had it flagged by Jacques showing it diagonally. They thought it was straighter. So their lawn actually had gone onto the neighbor's property and they had no problem
Okay,
with
so
it.
you don't really have trees on your property that separate from the abutters?
She does down closer to the road, but not
Yeah.
right where the garage is.
Okay.
On our survey plan, we show the tree
We
line.
have a good chunk of trees at the bottom, it just kind of comes with it.
Jock, is that a fairly accurate depiction of the tree line?
Yeah, that's what they
on your
locate,
survey
yeah,
plan?
yeah, located it when we were on the ground out there. And as you can see too in the application package, is a picture of the house with a truck parked out next to it. So basically, the garage is going where the driveway and parking space already is.
Okay. Okay, Alan, any more comments or questions?
No. Nope.
Okay. Len,
Are you ready for a motion on this? or-
I'm ready if you are.
All right, I'd like to move that we grant the variance with the condition, as per the discussion here, that the width of the building is reduced to 24, which would increase the distances that we're talking about in the application, a setback from, would be 3.7 to 7.7 and 6.3 to 10.3. And I just say we grant the variance with that condition.
Okay. Do we have a second? Alan?
No.
Thinking.
He's thinking. Well, the increase in the setback is better than what it was. I still have a problem with it. However, there is a good amount of buffer there. Unfortunately, it's all well, maybe it's fortunately, it's all on the neighbor's property. And if they decided to cut it down, they're the ones that are taking away some of the separation. However, I'm not sure that should fall solely on them when there's that intrusion into the setback. There we go. And then I have the other concern, because a couple of times in your variance criteria, you commented about other houses in the area have garages, but they don't have this type of setback. They don't have something that is this narrow. So it's not necessarily, not comparing apples to apples, in my opinion.
Except, on the other hand, they may not have the unique situation with all the ledge and the
Right.
environmental
And
conditions.
that's kind of the
on this
saving grace
site.
in my opinion, because they do have the hardship with the ledge and the septic and is it septic and well? Yeah,
Septic in the front, well in the back. Yeah.
no, septic and leach field in the front and then the well in the back, so you are kind of locked in, and I can kind of sympathize with you on that one. Okay, I'll second the motion. Okay, so we have Len's made the motion, I seconded it, And are we ready for a vote, or do we need more discussion? Alan? Do you need more discussion?
No?
Okay, so we will take a roll call vote. Len?
Yes,
Alan?
No.
And I would say yes, but the motion fails. The vote is 2-1. So the motion.
1-2.
1-2. No, 2-1,
Oh, it was 2-1, yes.
yes. So, so the motion fails. That said, you heard at the beginning about the request for rehearing, that would be your option. You would be able to come back at a time, maybe when we have a full board.
Doesn't that have to be done in a reasonable amount of time, though?
Within 30
30
days.
days. You have to request it within 30 days.
Right.
A question for you, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
You know, these people have a hardship. A reasonable use of their property would be to have a garage attached to their house like the neighborhood has. And, you know, I thought with reducing the width there that it should be something that should be looked at, because there was some stuff passed down a few years ago from the state that said that people should have reasonable use of their property, and I think we deem this as pretty reasonable use.
Did they buy it without the garage?
Yeah.
The thing is that we have 3 board members tonight. One disagreed with granting the variance request, and your next step is to request a rehearing if that's what you want to do.
Madam Chair? So in order for any motion to pass, whether it's a motion to deny or whether it's a motion to grant.
You're right.
There needs to be 3 affirmative votes, no matter which way. So unless
You're right.
all of you or some of you are willing to change your mind tonight, then I would suggest what we need to do is continue it to a date certain until we
Okay.
have
Okay,
enough board members so they're.
okay. Well, let's go to the other side. Do we have a motion for denial? Alan, do you want to make a motion to deny the application?
It's already been denied.
Not really, because it's not a vote of 3. There's no vote of 3, so the motion does not prevail. There is just no decision.
Can I make six?
So if we don't have a motion to deny, well, it looks like almost either way that we go, we would just have a continuance of the application pending a more complete board.
that's the way I would have also interpreted it. It has to be 3 votes, one way or
Right.
the other, to be a binding decision.
Right.
So you don't need to.
We don't need a vote to deny because we'll probably end up,
Presumably, it will be
The opposite
the
of-
same, just
right,
reverse.
right,
So the board can make a motion to
continue.
continue to a date certain, at which time hopefully we'll have more than
Great,
3 members,
okay,
hopefully 5.
okay. Am I correct in assuming, Alan, that you don't want to make a motion to deny?
It's already been denied.
Technically, not really.
From a procedural standpoint,
Right. Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to continue this application to our July meeting, which is July,
Just for a moment.
7,
July 7th.
okay, 7/7. Okay, and do we have a second? Well, yes, do we have a second?
second.
Okay, Len seconded the motion, and we will take a roll call vote. Len?
Yes,
Alan?
No.
And I say yes. So we
We
have.
can be here all night.
Okay, Nancy, what's your guidance here?
My guidance is to just, for Alan, I know he feels very strongly about his vote, and there's no reason why that his individual vote needs to change next month.
Right.
But we're at a stalemate right now, and the motion to continue to a date certain or to some point, I believe, is the option that we have in order to keep this moving forward, in order for the applicants to have a decision.
Right.
By law, they need a decision. At this point, we don't have a
Right.
decision.
And they need a decision that has at least 3 in favor of whatever the motion
Of
may
whatever
be.
the motion is.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Alan?
the applicant had an opportunity, since there was 3 members here tonight, to not be heard. He decided to be heard with just the 3. So the vote counts.
No, the vote doesn't count. Well, the vote is what it is, but if you recall, I also stated that any vote to prevail requires a vote of at least 3. So the vote of 2 to 1 did not prevail. Then there was no vote to deny, and then there was a vote to continue, and again, that was 2 to 1. We need a
Madam
vote.
Chair, I'm done. I'm done.
What have you got, Nancy?
Just give me a few minutes, and I'll see if we have any other options, but I don't believe we do, but if you can just hang tight, everyone.
Okay.
How's the weather, everyone?
What section are you looking at,
Just
Nancy?
strange.
676.
$676 what?
That's what I'm working on. Let me run upstairs and grab my cheat sheet, rules of procedures. So I think
Okay.
we have it
Okay.
in there. I usually have them with me, but I forgot to grab them. Right back.
Take a 5-minute recess while she's doing that.
Yes. The board's going to take a 5-minute recess while Nancy goes to find some paperwork. So if you'll just bear with us, and we will resume our meeting in about 5 minutes.
the right document up here in front of me. And that was in section 3.
Yes.
Let me unmute.
Hi, everybody, we're back. Sorry it took us a little longer than we anticipated. We've done a little bit of research, and we do have a little bit of information which our zoning code enforcement officer is going to read into the record.
Bear with me, and I need to scroll back down. So this is from the Board of Adjustment in New Hampshire handbook by New Hampshire OSI. It's the November 2019 version. And in Chapter 3, subsection 6, decision, RSA 674-33, powers of zoning board of adjustment. The concurrent, and this is Roman numeral 3. The concurring vote of any 3 members of the board shall be necessary to take any action on any matter on which it is required to pass. Before making its decision, the board must determine the facts of the case and apply what it understands to be proper meaning and intent of the zoning ordinance and map. Let's see, scrolling on down the page. Okay.
If a motion to grant a variance fails.
Yes. The board can simplify matters by considering each requirement necessary for the granting of a variance or special exception separately rather than treating the question as a whole. If a motion to grant a variance fails by a 2 in favor, 3 opposed margin, that does not mean that the variance is automatically disapproved. In such a case, one of the 3 members who disapproved the motion should now propose their own new motion to disapprove the application, stating the reasons for denial. It's noted that this evening we don't have 5 members, we have 3 members. The board should then vote on that motion, which would likely pass 3 to 2. This is especially important when there are fewer than 5 board members present, since motions could result in a tie. Alternate motions should be put forward, but if the board truly cannot find something at least 3 members can agree on, the meeting should be continued until a 5th member can be present. Now, as we were talking a moment ago, the statute seems to be silent on what to do about not having a 3 confirmed votes if the motion is to continue the application. So that's what we're struggling with at the moment. Oops, just went to a court case. That. Madam Chair, if you just give me one more moment, I'm going to look
Yep.
up one more thing.
Nancy, have you
Yes.
gone to the section on public hearing that's a few pages back?
No, not yet.
I know my
can scroll.
version is not the same as yours, and it might be a little bit longer to read, but it basically says a lot of the same things. RSA 674-33 says 3 votes are necessary to change any administrative decision or to decide in favor of any matter legally before the board. If there's not a full board, even with alternates serving, the chairman could give the applicant the option of postponing the hearing until all members are present. We did that. If the applicant chooses to proceed with the hearing, he should be advised that a hearing before a 3 or 4 member board will not be grounds for a rehearing in the event the application is denied. The vote should be made on a motion to approve or disapprove the appeal and should incorporate all the reasons for the decision. If a motion to approve does not receive 3 votes, the application is not automatically denied. A further motion with reasons for the denial should be offered and another vote taken. The applicant and others should be able to understand the reasons for the decision, even though they may not agree with it. Following the roll call, let's see, and this is about I think this is more about the vote. If the board finds that they cannot conclude the public hearing within the time available, they may vote to continue the hearing to a specific time, place, and date, with no additional notice required, so as long as they make the formal announcement before voting to continue the hearing. And if the votes continue the hearing without announcing the time and date, they'll be required to provide formal notice of the reconvened hearing as was done originally. Upon its conclusion, the hearing should be officially closed before the board begins its formal deliberations. Okay, so this basically reiterates the same thing as the other section that we read, that when you have a 3 or 4 member board and the vote is not 3 in favor, the application should be continued. So it said 2 different places in here.
Okay.
So with that said, did we do a motion to continue? Yeah, we did, and that failed. Alan, are you open to a continuance now? Having heard what the zoning board of adjustment handbook says? Alan, are you there? Is he still there, Nancy?
He is still there. Alan, can you hear us?
Is he muted?
No.
Okay.
Alan?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure you could hear us.
Okay. Now, did you hear the 2 sections we just read of the handbook about needing to have a continuance because there is not a 3-person vote on either of the motions that were made? Are you willing to do that?
I would a lot rather consult with the town attorney to make sure we're doing this right. Because I don't think so.
Well, unfortunately, I can't call him right now, and I can't myself contact him. It has to be through the town administrator, and that's not something that can be done right now.
According to what I've read here, I would say that we would be safe to have to vote for a continuance and just have them come back when we have a board of 4 or 5 members. And I think the attorney would probably say the same.
But why do we take and instruct them that with only 3 members, that they have a right to have it continued to a date when there's more members available?
Because at this
And they
moment,
know that if-
I'm sorry.
And they know it takes 3 positive votes.
They know it takes 3
And
positive.
they say they want to continue with it, that they're at risk.
They are at risk, and if the vote had been 3, had been all 3 against, or if the motion had been to deny, and it was all 3 in favor of a motion to deny, then having a 3-member board would not have been a reason for rehearing. But because we have no motion that has all 3 of us in favor for anything, we need to continue so that, because there needs to be a vote of at least 3 in favor, regardless of their choice to go forward, because it didn't result in any motion that is viable. There's nothing that said, there's no motion where all 3 of us agreed. So the choice is to go forward to, or to continue to another another meeting. Well, I'm going to make that motion one more time. I'm going to make a motion that we continue the application to July 7th, 2020. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, so Len Stewart seconded the motion, and I'm going to take a roll call vote. Len?
Yes.
I say yes. Alan?
No.
So we're back to where we stand. Nancy, can I make a chairman's decision and just continue it anyway?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm
At
going to do.
this point, yes.
All right, because we are at a stalemate and because of what the zoning board of adjustment handbook requires, I'm going to make a decision that we continue this hearing to July 7th, 2020. It will be here, 7 o'clock, and hopefully we will have a 4 or 5 member board. Okay, and if by chance we find out that any part of this is improper, we would certainly let you know. But I don't believe it is, not from what we've read.
Well, thank you for your time.
Okay.
It's been difficult.
Thank you.
Sorry for all your
Thank
unnecessary.
you for your patience.
Always an experience to learn something, I guess.
Okay, so that is, do we have any other business, Nancy?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, and that means I made it, you second it? Or did Alan make a motion to adjourn?
Alan has not. Alan, you still there?
Yep.
Okay, do you want to, oops, that wasn't the motion to adjourn. Len made a motion to adjourn, you want a second?
Second?
All in favor? Alan says yes.
Yes.
Len?
Yes.
And I say yes. We are adjourned at 8:42.